Hi again. So now I'm going to give a go to the circle weaving, so the biggest template on the page. So you just need to cut that out with a pair of scissors, and then the yarn that we'll be using for this one is this one, the super multicolored stuff. All right, you also may want to add some beads. You'd need a couple of beads for a keyring, but all the others can be used in this, and they don't have to remain wooden. So you could take some time out and paint them with any paint would work, or Sharpie pen them, add some little polka dots to them, do anything you like to them really. They can stay plain, or you can decorate them before you add them. All right, so here's my circle weave template, and then you also need to cut these 13 lines. Now the reason that there's 13 is because when you work with a warp and a weft, which is the name for the direction of the direction of a weave, and they need to kind of go over and under each other. So if there's an odd number, it works. If it's an even number, it doesn't work. So that's the reason for those random 13 lines. I would suggest that you wanted the front to be the cardboard and that you wanted that to be the back. And then I've given you some string in your bag. So what you can do, so this is the back. So you can apply it with a piece of sellotape to the surface, just to get you started, so it doesn't really matter how ugly the back looks. And then you come through the slot, and then you go down to an opposite one. Now obviously it's not perfectly opposite because there's 13, but just go with one that looks opposite-ish. Same for the next one. Now what I do to reduce string, can you see, is I go diagonally over to the next one, and then I go there, and I go diagonally over to the next one, and then I go there. So from the front it looks like that. It's not that necessary. I have given you a lot of string, but it's always good to save materials. You might need it for something else later. Oh, nearly there. 1, 2. And then your final one will be an odd one out, but that's okay. You just partner it up with whichever one it looks most opposite to. So I'm going to go with that one there. Actually, that doesn't work. I like that one better. Ooh. There you go. Alright, so it looks a bit strange now, but when you start weaving, it'll sort itself out. To finish it off, just put another piece of tape on the back. Now, if you want, you can use your darning needle, the small needle in your bag, and you can load your thread onto that to do it, but I actually prefer to just do it by hand. I find it a little bit easier just to use my fingers, so have a little try with both. Now you don't need to work with this huge length of thread, you need it about 1 meter long, so you can take all 7 threads together here, so you can actually quickly prepare 7. And then, because it would take a long time to do them single thread, what I often do is I do them double thread, so they end up being about 1/2 meter. And then the way I attach them is I just choose one of the lines, I slide it under like so, and then I grab both ends, and that is the beginning of my weave there, so it's attached. Okay, so that's the open ends, that's the looped end. And then all you need to do is you just go around in the clockwise motion or anti-clockwise, whatever you feel most comfortable with, and you're going over one, under the next, over one, under the next. So let me just try and do this while showing you. So over that one, under that one, over, under, over, under. The first one always feels a bit weird because you haven't properly got a perfect circle yet, but after you've created your first rotation, you'll be off. It'll be easy peasy. Over, under. You do have to keep checking that you do it right, and like I said, each rotation that you do should be different to the last. So if you went over the first time, then you should be going under the next time. So it's always quite good to check on that. That'll make it look really good. Over, under. Yep, it's worked out perfectly. So that's where I started. I started with an over, and the next time I've got to it, I'm going under. So all I would do now is I would just keep going round until I got either bored of this colour or I ran out of colour. You can stop it early if you feel like it's not looking so good. And then when you get to the end, what I do to tuck it in is I just go back the other direction for 2 goes. So I turn around and I go over, under, over, that'll be enough. And then I don't cut it very close, I cut it about 1 centimetre or so away from the edge, and then I tuck that end in. Because this will become the frame. You don't ever take it off this piece of board, so it is just a piece of art. So as long as it's tucked in, it's never going to fall apart. So you can just tuck it away. And then I'll just quickly repeat. I'll just do one more just so you can see how easy it is. So I'll do pink next. So you'd start at the same point as you finish the last one, and then let me just find that. Yeah, you'd slide it under. You'd find the halfway point. Like so. And off you go. Over, under, over, under, over, under. And later on, I'll show you a photo of how that looks. Oh, and the thing I've forgotten to mention is the beads. So you just need to grab a bead. You may need to lick your wool to get it through there, especially some of the thicker ones. You may also need like a pen or a pencil, something sharp to push it through. Let me just see if that's big enough. Okay, the needle would be perfect. There we go. Great. Okay, so I've added a bead to the surface. It looks a bit funny now, but when it's full of design, you'll see that it looks really nice. So you go over, what was that one? Under, over. Under, over, under, over, under, over. Like so. And then the bead is stuck in position, and when it's surrounded by other colours, it will look really nice. So yeah, enjoy that. That's a really nice way to spend a few hours, and you can make it rainbow coloured. And then you can display it up on the wall. Okay, that's circle weaving.